Hey everyone, I wanted to welcome you back. I have had a video that I have been waiting to do for quite a few months, and I just feel like tonight is the night. So I want to talk to you about something that I came across a few months ago. As some of you know, I have been working out in the woods in Monroeville, Alabama for the last about 5 months. And during that time, the Lord really kind of just started spending time with me and drawing me and kind of taking me into a little bit deeper place than where I've been. And as a part of that, I came across some information just by chance. Well, I won't say by chance, it was the Holy Ghost, totally. But I wanted to share it with you. I thought, at first I thought, well, I will share this, on Facebook. And then I thought, I'm going to hold on this for a little bit and kind of just let it simmer a little bit. And then I'm going to end up sharing this on a video. And so without further ado, I'm so excited about this. So what happened, I was at work one night and I began to watch some videos, and I came across one in particular on Amazon Prime, and it talked about the Galilean wedding. And what they were talking about specifically was that Jesus and the disciples, they were all Galilean. So it made total sense that when they were communicating, when Jesus was communicating to the disciples, he was using things that they knew of as Galileans that were familiar to them, very specifically. And one of those things that he mentioned, or that they mentioned in the video, was talking about the Galilean custom of the wedding. And they began to unfold this and to help us understand what Jesus was doing at the Last Supper. And so they open it up and they talk about the father of the groom. Now this is very particular to the Galileans. This is their customs. And that they have recently actually found this in archaeological digs in that area and doing research. This is very, very fresh. I believe from like 2020 forward. But anyway, so during the digs and during the excavations and the research and everything, they found that it was customary that if a wedding was going to take place, the groom's father would draw up a contract. And within that contract, they would state everything that they were going to provide as the groom's family and as the groom to the bride. And then the bride's family and the groom's family would meet at the city gate, and all of the witnesses would come, and the agreement would be read aloud, and the bride's family would either say, yes, we agree to these conditions, or no, we won't. But if the answer was yes, we will, then all of the witnesses would bear witness that this union was going to take place. That kind of resonated with me about the Bible. Like, the Bible is the contract of the Father provided by the Son to us, the bride. And he's stating in here, if you agree to these conditions, these things are what I'm going to give you. The second part of it is, once the yes occurs, then the big moment comes where the groom takes a cup. And for this, there's a whole nother story behind this cup, which I'm so excited about. This is actually called a Kiddush cup. It is a Hebrew cup, and it is used for Shabbat, and it's also used for weddings. Before I get into the rest of this story, I've got to tell you about this cup. So, and it's the rabbit trail. I'm so sorry, but I have to tell you this. So, as I watched this video like 3 times to like really kind of let it resonate and sink in, and then I began to say, Lord, you know what? I want to share this video. I want to share it in my own words, because it just so affected me in such an amazing way. And so I said, Lord, if I'm going to share this in a video or preach or whatever, I really want to have something that I can demonstrate. Like, I would really love to have a cup. And so I left the hospital where I was working. I was in between shifts. I drove down to Monroeville, it's a very small town. You would have to understand and see it to appreciate it. But there's this one little antique store, and I went inside and I walked straight to the back, and right in front of my eyes was this little cup and this tray. And it has Hebrew writing on the front of it, and I actually got in contact with Rebecca in Israel. I wanted to make sure that everything was good and right, and like I understood what it was saying. But it says, he who gives the fruit of the vine, and it comes from the prayer on Shabbat that says, blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who gives us fruit from the vine. That is what this writing is on here. So anyway, there couldn't have been a more perfect cup, because as I mentioned, this is used for Friday night Shabbat, which is, it's a very important date for Jews, and then also it's used for weddings. So anyway, the cup. So the second part, going back to the wedding customs of the Galileans, the second part is once the yes is given to the family, from the bride's family to the groom's family, the groom then takes the cup and he pours wine into it, and he offers it and presents it to the bride. Now, this very specifically to the Galileans, the bride has the option at this point to still say no. If she receives the cup from the groom, it's a yes. If she drinks of it. If she doesn't want to have the marriage, then she would push the cup away. So, saying that she actually does say yes, she takes the cup, she takes and drinks of it, and then she hands it back to the groom. And then the groom drinks of it. And he says, I will not drink of this wine again until we drink it anew in my Father's house. And y'all, that was so profound to me, because, if you are at all acquainted with the Word of God and the Last Supper, this is exactly what Jesus did. He gave the wine or the juice to the disciples, and they all drank of it. He said, this is my blood. This is given as a new covenant, my new covenant to you. And I won't drink of this again until I drink it anew in my Father's house with you. So, it was just a moment of, the disciples would have understood very perfectly that he was basically laying out a wedding by design. And so that was awesome. But the next, as the story continues, the groom then leaves the bride. And it takes about a year of preparation. So the bride goes back to her family, and she begins to prepare herself and going through the customary regimens of getting ready for a wedding, getting her attire together, her fabrics or dress or whatever. I'm sure they had to make everything by hand then. And then, and getting lamps and oil and such as that prepared. The groom went back to his father's house. And here in the Galilean area, what they did is they would add on to the Father's house. And when you hear in the Bible, when it talks about Jesus went to different houses and it says this individual and their whole family were saved, the Galilean custom was that like aunts, uncles, cousins, everybody lived in single communities. So like the father would have a house, and then the sons would marry and they would add on to the father's house. And the same with uncles and their sons and their children. So it was a big compound of family. And so when the groom says, I'm going back to my father's house to prepare a place for you, he was literally going back to his father's house to get blocks or whatever materials they used in the time, and to get rugs and wood for tables, to kind of prepare a place for them to live. And then when the time was right, and this again was Galilean, the father was the only one who could tell the son, okay, son, I've looked at everything you've done. You're ready to go get your bride. Now go get her. And most of the times in the Galilean customs, the father would do it late at night. He would wait till like midnight or in the wee hours of the morning. And the groom, he would wake the groom up, and the groomsmen would be there, and they would all be ready. And the bridal party, they would all be ready, because they knew it was going to be about a year, but they didn't know the day or the hour. But when the father said, "Okay, son, go, it's time," the groom would arise. The groomsmen would go with him. They would march in the street toward the bride's house, father's house, to get her. They would blow the shofar to wake up the community, to let them know, "I'm going to get my bride." It was so awesome. And so they go. They get to the bride's father's house, and she has to be ready. And the bridesmaids, everybody in the bridal party has to be ready, because as soon as they knock on the door, they are taking her back to the father's house to have the wedding feast. And there was another part of this as well. And for those of y'all that don't know about the rapture, if it's real, pre-trib, mid-trib, post-trib, any trib, in this story, there is I don't know the name of it, but it's kind of like how they carried the ark. It has two posts that run through it, and there's a seat in the middle. And they would take the bride and put her in that seat and lift her up into the air and carry her back to the father's house. Now, if that is not the most profound thing, y'all, it just blew my mind. And so, after you hear this, you can totally see the outline of what Jesus was saying and doing and preparing the apostles for. He's saying, "I'm leaving, but I am definitely coming back for my bride. I'm going to prepare a place for you, that where I am, you can be also." And so, y'all, anyway, I wanted to share that with you because it is totally exciting. But so if any of y'all are interested in watching more, that is like my Cliff Notes version of what I saw. But there is a movie. It's more of a documentary. It's on Amazon Prime, and it's called, I don't remember what it's called, but Kevin Sorbo narrates it. And it's about the end of times. It has kind of a doomy gloom name to it, but it is totally about the wedding and what we are here for, what we are preparing for, and what is yet to come. So I hope this encourages y'all. And so anyway, I hope y'all have a blessed day. And y'all have any comments or anything like that, definitely leave them and on the post, and share it. And God bless y'all. I love y'all. Bye.